Well, hello and welcome to this week's Blog Rundown, the weekly show from Movie Burner Entertainment, where we discuss all the latest written reviews from our writing team here at MBE. John, what is up first?
Up first this week, Stephen, is a little film called Shazam. It's just a little film, just a little movie.
Yeah.
It's from 2019. It's also the DC release, the latest film in the is it not DCEU. This is written by the movie couple, Jerry and Elizabeth. And obviously, Stephen, Jerry and Elizabeth have their own unique way of reviewing films. They do a split perspective, and then they come together at the end to give their conclusion on the film. Jerry, big comic book fan, we've already established from previous reviews. He enjoyed the film a whole lot for similar reasons to which I enjoyed the film. Elizabeth, not so much. I think she's getting a bit of comic book fatigue. She says, I think that the film's average, so they came to a happy medium, there was much consternation, but they came to a happy medium and rated it 4 bills, which is pretty high in their rating scale. So I enjoyed it, Stephen. Did you enjoy it? I know you've been to see it as well. What was your thoughts on it?
What was
your thoughts on the review? Do you agree with Jerry or do you agree with Elizabeth?
I'm more on Jerry's side, to be fair, but that's because I like my comic book films. One of the things that I didn't expect when this film was announced it was going to get made. I didn't think I would like it as much. I thought it was going to be very goofy. I think I mentioned this maybe last week. It's certainly not goofy. It's a very funny film. It's also got a lot of heart in it as well. The relationships between the foster kids, the foster parents, them welcoming Billy into the household as well. Jerry actually says that something that I picked up on in the trailer was that it's like Big meets Superman. That's exactly what it is. The sort of the young boy, in the adult's body, adjusting his whole life to not just the sort of mental strain of that situation, but the physical strain as well. She's noticed he bumps his head a lot. He's not used to the height he is. Zachary Levi, I thought was fantastic. I've not really seen much of his films. But when I saw that trailer, I just thought it was a perfect fit for the character. The story as well, if you're coming into it fresh, I thought it explained the sort of origins of the character as well, and where he came from. Mark Strong's character, I'm trying to remember his name, Dr. Sylvana.
That's the one, Dr. Sylvana.
I thought Mark Strong was a great antagonist as well. His reasons for the way he was were well explained right from the kick-off. I loved the little sort of, are they Easter eggs? Maybe not. I think they were very obvious in their sort of, the director's sort of love for 80s sort of action films as well. The Goonies, Gremlins, Ghostbusters, that kind of thing. Big, obviously, were very obvious in there for me anyway. Because of my age, I can pick up on these things. Overall, I thought it was a great film. I loved this review as well. I'm totally on board with what Jerry's saying. I agree with practically most of the things he's saying. I do understand where Elizabeth is coming from. This is where we're, we're in a time when these films are dominating the box office at the moment. Yourself, when we're going through articles during the week for Movie Burner News, we've had to split that up and create a new show just specifically for superheroes because the market is so saturated with them. But listen, I'm not going to complain. I grew up watching Bill Bixby's Incredible Hulk, Nicholas Hammond's Spider-Man, these TV films which were horrendous, but I loved them back in the day.
Slim Shady and that What's Without Me, up beside the wall.
Exactly.
That was good.
Batman from the 1960s. That was what you got, and that's all you had apart from the animated stuff. So for people like myself, Jerry, yourself, John, we're living the dream at the moment.
Stephen, look, 2019 already, and if you class, we've had 3 superhero films this year, and we're into April. So we've had 3 superhero films in such a short and small period of time. So I can completely understand some people having a degree of comic book or superhero fatigue, and we're only going to get worse as the year goes on. We've still got Endgame, still got Far From Home, and God knows what else.
Wonder Woman as
well. Wonder Woman, is that coming out this year?
It might not be, it might be next year.
I think that may be next year, but there's a few still, perhaps New Mutants, I think that's next year as well, 2020, and that keeps getting put back. But look, I can understand why there's a degree of comic book fatigue from obviously Elizabeth. That being said, I do agree mostly with Jerry here on his take on the film. Really do agree with what he says about the sort of an alter ego thing. You've got him getting out as Shazam and try to learn how to be a superhero and take on the Mark Strong character, and also just take on other different things. I think at one point he's performing out in the street, doing like a street musician sort of thing, dancing. Right, so he's doing this thing, he's trying to grow as a superhero sort of a figure, but then he comes home and he's trying to learn to adjust to the setting of his new, obviously, foster set, his new parents, and his stepbrother, I think it's Freddie Freeman, played by Jack Dylan Grazer, I should say. And also the younger sister, his younger stepsister, I forget her name, Stephen, I can't recall what the little girl's name is, Faith Herman, and she played Darla Dudley. Those two were really underrated and maybe played characters in the film. I really enjoyed them. I don't feel that we got enough of, certainly the little girl, she was great in little moments. Just when he had to come home, when he went missing, and he came home and obviously Freddie's helping him up the stairs, and the young girl sees him with the Shazam suit. John, that moment, that awkwardness where she has to kind of lie.
That's something you just said that I've picked up on. I think that's why we're already getting rumours that they're already talking about a sequel, because I think they're wanting to do this while those kids are still the age they are as well, because you're right, I don't think we've got enough of them. If they're going to do a sequel, I think it will be in the next couple of years. This will be the time to do it, because I think, well, I certainly would like to see more of those characters. Yeah,
and Mark Strong, Stephen, I completely agree with what you said, and obviously Jerry as well. I thought he was quite an interesting antagonistic character. I don't want to say out-and-out villain, because I didn't feel he was an out-and-out villain. He also felt jilted, wronged. We see his story at the beginning. He gets brought forward in front of the original Shazam, or Wizard, I think his name is, or something.
Wizard,
Wizard. And he is deemed unworthy, and he's obviously taken that into his adult years. He's still harbouring a grudge, and he goes about trying to right this wrong, get back to this place and see if he's worthy now that he's grown up. So he was a complicated, villainous character. You understood his motives and what was driving him. He wasn't an out-and-out evil sort of a character, although he did some horrific things, but I think he was getting possessed with this sort of a entity as well, which was obviously manipulating him like a sort of a puppet master.
7 Deadly Sins, wasn't it?
Yeah, 7 Deadly Sins, and then obviously in there, the only thing I'd say, Stephen, about this film that I didn't like so much was that end sequence when we get the multiple different coloured Shazams. It was like Power Rangers, and that was a little bit cringe-worthy. But I can understand. I think that was his foster family, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they're all that's kind of a symbolic of him joining the family and finally settling down, and then they're all becoming one and helping him in his superhero side of things as well. So that was a nice little touch, I suppose. But I wasn't that keen on it.
Did they all have a certain superpower that he possessed, all individually? That's what I kind of picked up from it, you know.
Yeah, they may
one
have
had the speed, one had the power, that type of thing, you know.
Yeah,
I'm wrong.
No, I don't think you are. I think you're probably right. Yeah. All in all, Stephen, I really did enjoy the film. I thought it was a great linear little story. Never really deviated too much off into like an elite battle angel setup where you've got all these different side players and they're expanding out in this lore and story.
Yeah.
It was a nice origin story for the character of Shazam for people who perhaps don't know much about him, like me. Just a few months back, I couldn't have told you anything about him.
No.
I've done my research though, very interesting history, and Jerry touches upon that as well, obviously going all the way back to the 1930s when he was called Captain Marvel, not Brie Larson and Carol Danvers. Version, the actual proper Captain Marvel that John Lennon was singing about, zapping people right between the eyes.
Yeah.
So, intriguing history. So it done his backstory for the novices that don't know much about it. Introduced this interesting character. He could have been a figure of fun if they didn't handle this right and get the balance between the darkness of the villain story and him taking them on, and the humour right, then it could have been an absolute unmitigated disaster. But as it was, it actually turned out pretty well. I felt they nailed the balance in the main. David F. Sandberg done a fantastic job.
Certainly did.
And the screenplay, as I did say, whilst linear, was enjoyable, full of laughs in the main, and I really enjoyed it. I thought the characters popped. I really did enjoy the performances of the foster side, as I did say, even the mother figure. She was actually getting interviewed on Collider Live, and I watched it, and she spoke about the behind the scenes, how the crew came together and it felt like a big family. And obviously the Freddie Freeman character, Billy Batson, and Asher Angel, when they went away and came back, she'd noticed they'd grown and things like that. So it was this family spirit, and I think that really played itself into the story in the film. We get a great family-friendly sort of a film, great origin story, great moments of humour, and some decent action as well.
Yeah, John, we'll just move on to our next film review. This came in from Stephen Wilkins. It's a film called Guardians, and I was actually quite pleased when this came in, because the contrast for this week's episode in regards to superheroes couldn't be further away. This is a film, I think it's actually a Russian film, John.
It is, it's Zhashnitsky.
Yeah.
Shaz Shindiki.
Is that his real name?
That's his real name,
His real name, yeah.
Is that Shindiki?
And one of the things that no, but this is, listen, before we get into the review, the reason that I liked that is because, you know, we were just talking about how saturated the comic book films are at the moment with DC and Marvel. It's always nice to see a different take or a different slant on superhero movies. When you go back to the likes of Kick-Ass or Super, the likes of The Watchmen or Darkman, films like that are superhero. Sin City, and you just touched on it as well with the likes of Glass as well, John.
Shaking it up and moving away from the traditional comics sort of universes.
And filmmakers try to make these films as real as possible. Like the Kick-Ass is very real. You know, it's like an ordinary person just trying to be a superhero and getting their ass kicked. And the likes of Super as well. Yeah, I mean, I love films like that. You know, it's always the ones where you don't expect a lot out of that you get the most out of. Because we all grow up with the likes of Incredible Hulk, Superman, Amazing Spider-Man, etc. It's always nice and refreshing. This isn't any different. This is directed by Sarek Andreasen. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't really want to get through the whole cast, John, because I'll be here all night.
No, I'm not even going to touch upon that as well, Stephen.
But what did you get from the review, John?
Very interesting, I have to say. I've never heard of the film. I do seem to recall speaking about a similar setup perhaps a year ago, where it was a Russian telling of a superhero sort of a film. Kind of a felt like a Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff. And this is kind of a similar, Stephen. You can see elements. Groot is obviously the bear. This is the vibe I get. You're seeing elements of that in there. Maybe perhaps a Russian version of the Avengers.
Well, it's funny you should say Groot, because I actually got Dave Bautista from that.
It could be.
Like
could be Drax the Destroyer. Well, who knows, Stephen, when he transformed back.
The bearded chap.
The bearded chap, Wolverine, the guy in the middle with the blades, looks like Bucky, Winter Soldier sort of thing. There's Black Widow. And I think the other guy looks like, obviously, Chris Pratt.
I do like the sort of tagline at the top as well, Squad of Soviet Superheroes. So
Donald Trump won't like that, won't he? He's getting done for Russian interference. But look, Steve, it looks interesting. Steve says that the movie's full of fun, cringy, very formulaic and cheesy. So that's what you expect in a superhero film, a B-level superhero film, which this, I presume, is. I don't know much about it. The CG, he does say, it's pretty good in the main, apart from the bear, who transforms and does his Incredible Hulk thing. He does his, what the hell's he called, Stephen? Guy from wrestling, Hulk Hogan. Rips the clothes off. When he transforms back, the clothes are fully intact as if nothing happened. So he says that's a little nitpick of his, but it's just, you laugh at it and you forget about it very quickly. It's obviously about 4 heroes, as you did say, Stephen. They're modified humans. They're given abilities during the Cold War, and they have to set about taking down this antagonistic character who can speak to tech. He's an evil chap, so it's intriguing. It sounds intriguing. I'd not heard of it. The cover is very interesting. The characters look interesting as well. That's the best I can say. I went into Rotten Tomatoes. Steve certainly enjoyed it in the main. He did say, as I did,
rated it a B,
says it's formulaic, cheesy and bits, but he says it's a B level film, so he's rated it highly. Some of the reviews, we're getting mixed bag in the main on Rotten Tomatoes. It's scored low, but Stephen, you expect that. It's only 10 reviews. There's not a great deal of critics involved here. And although it's scored low, 3 have rated it fresh. So I'll go with the fresh ones first before I pass it back to you. They says there's a strange kind of charm to it, a sort of admirable little engine that could determination to take Marvel on at their own game. Another one says it takes the basic formula of Marvel movies, strips away all the characterisation and wit, and delivers an entertaining but deeply stupid cheese fest. So you see a continuing theme here. They're clearly ripping off Marvel. This is the Russian take on Marvel, but they're stripped back all of the humour and stuff like that and the wit, and they're just giving us an out-and-out cheese fest. So I don't know what you make of it, Stephen. I've never heard of it. If I could get my hands on it, I'd probably watch it.
Well, I was going to say that, John. It's interesting to find out how Steve came across this movie, whether it was just some random pick out of a Blu-ray shop or whatever. I don't know. In regards to, he says the CG is pretty decent as well. But you're right. These kind of films, you were very complimentary saying a B-type superhero movie, John. I would maybe rate that maybe a D. type superhero movie.
What's that?
I would say B type superhero movies are like the likes of Kick-Ass, Super, films like that. I think this is a bit of a bit lower than that, because this is trying to be. This is trying to be Marvel. This is trying to be DC.
Well, Butaca Ancha, this is the organisation. Mariana Fernandez, strangely all Spanish-speaking people that are reviewing this film. Don't know what's going on there. Maybe it got a wide release in Spain.
Yeah.
But she says, similar to the involuntary laughter that B-series films provoke, resulting in cold Russian salad of superheroes lacking charisma and personality. I've said that totally discombobulated. There's no intonation in that sentence whatsoever, Stephen, but you get the point. It's invoking involuntary laughter. It's got that B-movie vibe, but they're lacking in charisma and personality. So I don't know what to make. We're getting different conclusions here to the film. Some people are rating it fresh. They're saying it's a cheese fest. It does strip back on the wit you'd usually be accustomed to seeing in a Marvel film, but that adds a degree of charm to it, and it's just an intriguing little bit of popcorn flick and filler. Obviously escapism. And
we're not really
Steve seems to say that as well.
We're not really getting a sort of justified, result on Rotten Tomatoes because there's so little.
No, it's all Spanish, Steve.
4 out of 10 on IMDb after nearly 10,000 reviews says a lot more.
Yeah, I mean,
it's below average.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the 10 critics' reviews are Spanish. So this film has evidently been given a wide release in Spain.
I think so. It's certainly not had one here, John.
Although it's grossed $4 million.
It was released here back in 2017, May 2017, but certainly went under the radar as far as I was concerned. I'd never heard of it till Steve's review. I liked the review. I thought it was a good sort of overall description of the movie, gave us a good idea of what to expect if we ever do try and get hold of it. I would like to actually see it, just out of curiosity more than anything, John, but I've not got much more to say. I don't know if you've got anything else
I'll just
to add,
wrap
John.
up, Stephen, by briefly touching upon the breakdown of the box office. As I did say, it grossed $4 million. Certainly, it seems like it grossed $4 million in Russia, but you look at the breakdown, obviously, of the foreign total, and it's very interesting indeed. Obviously, China, it got a release in China, it grossed $2.8 million. It grossed $1.1 million in Mexico. It's not been released in the United Kingdom or in the United States. So, certainly it's done very well in Russia. So I'm great to see that they've had some success with the film, because I'm sure it's got its own merits and its own distinct charm to it. But I can't possibly discuss it because I've not had an opportunity to see it, nor do I know of any way in which to get my hands on it legally. So
drop us a DM, Steve.
Yeah, drop us a DM, Steve. So we can watch this.
Yeah. But listen, that just brings us to the end of this week's edition of the Blog Rundown. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us, and we will be back again tomorrow with the Force Friday show.